things I think do pick up in a really, really interesting way. With 10 minutes left in the match, the Ark is going to where they would think is safe, and then it's not safe. The players from 64PL abandon the idea of going for the buildings and instead gun right for this Ark. Now, they're able to contest this Ark, and this Ark goes to the worst possible place to try to score an Ark. I'm not saying it was the wrong choice. I'm saying this is the worst place to have to score an Ark, which is at an outpost. And I would almost say magically, New V is able to score that Ark and win the game. Unbelievable. This means, by the way, that New V advances to the next round. They'll be battling against the winner of the 254 OLPA matchup, which happens at 18 UTC. We'll see you back here in about an hour for that matchup. Very much looking forward to casting it. Take care, and we'll see you real soon.
With Barbarossa and his friends. Capture the Lost Temple, and all the treasure is yours, Kusunoki. As for me, I've come and seen. Now I shall conquer.
What cause is there for such alarm?
Your Majesty, Caesar has betrayed the Alliance. He and Kusunogi Masashige are going to attack our temple.
So, Caesar, our pact with Boudica means nothing to you. Then we shall meet on the battlefield. Tell Boudica, war has found us.
Oh, Barbarossa. Take the temple!
Sagas speak of a lost kingdom. An earthly Valhalla where treasure is endless and honor absolute. Our enemies conspired to cheat us of this prize. But these are lonely foes who we have robbed and pillaged many times over. Upstart emperors, gold-drunk kings, glorified shield maidens and pompous fools. All will fail, cursed by the grace of Odin. The sacred map is ours. So prepare, cherished enemies, for the glories of battle, the forge of war, and the joy of the feast. Where death is glorious, and strength rules all. For we are brothers, warriors, blood, who cresting on an icy flood, do battle in the name of Thor. We are Vikings. Give us war!
Mocked by other civilizations. Now even flea-ridden Vikings take us for fools. Rise up, topmost third, for our country!
I, Imperial Pharaoh of the 18th Dynasty, buried by my side, my loyal...
No time to waste. Egypt needs us.
People! Brothers, follow me!
Egypt must rise!
Dear Governors, welcome to Rise of Kingdoms. Rules of the first ROK Anniversary Grand Prix. The Grand Prix is divided into the following 3 stages: Team Registration, Team Confirmation, and the Grand Prix stage. Team registration will begin on August 19th. Players can assemble teams each with 30 to 35 players and register for the Grand Prix on the official website. Each captain can create a team on the Grand Prix website. Enter your team name, obtain a team invitation code. Other players can then join the team simply by entering the invitation code on the Grand Prix website. The registered teams will be ranked in order of total battle power. The top-ranked teams will qualify for the Grand Prix. Additionally, star teams will be invited to join the Grand Prix. Team registration closes on August 26th. The team rankings will not be updated after the registration closes. Our staff will contact the top-ranked teams accordingly and confirm their willingness to compete. At this point, if any team drops out, the spot will be filled by the team with the next highest ranking. Dear Governors, do take note of this. Don't miss out on the Grand Prix. The Grand Prix will adopt the gameplay used in Ark of Osiris. Participants will have access to the Rise of Kingdoms esports server and use the official super accounts provided by Rise of Kingdoms to engage in battles. 16 teams will pair up and battle in the best-of-1 single elimination format. The final 2 teams will compete in the final showdown on September the 30th. This Grand Prix offers great rewards. Each player of the champion team will receive the champion's ring, an iPad, and other rewards. Rewards also include game items and other prizes, such as the city theme for the champion of the Grand Prix. All other participants will receive gift cards and game items as rewards. During the Grand Prix, players can place bets on the Grand Prix's official website and redeem rewards. Battle horns blare as the increasing wind whirls the sand. Which team will reach the pinnacle? Stay tuned.
Journey to the ruins hidden in the sand to write your story. With the mist so close at hand, your heart is soaring. Take hold of your command and march for glory. Hear the call of Seth and make your stand. To the air. Hold on for dear life. To your soldier, faith, your dream. It burns deep inside. The need to reign supreme. It drives you. Seize the sacred shrines. Claim final victory. The blessing of the Nile will at last be won when ancient kingdoms rise. For glory!
Time to end our alliance with Barbarossa and his friends. Capture the lost temple, and all the treasure is yours, Kusunoki. As for me, I've come and seen. Now I shall conquer.
What cause is there for such alarm?
Your Majesty, Caesar has betrayed the Alliance. He and Kusunogi Masashige are going to attack our temple.
So, Caesar, our pact with Boudica means nothing to you? Then we shall meet on the battlefield. Tell Boudica, war has found us.
Oh, Barbarossa.
Take the temple!
Sagas speak of a lost kingdom. In earthly Valhalla, where treasure is endless and honor absolute. Our enemies conspire to cheat us of this prize. But these are lonely foes who we have robbed and pillaged many times over. Upstart emperors, gold-drunk kings, glorified shield maidens and pompous fools. All will fail! Because by the grace of Odin, the sacred map is ours. So prepare, cherished enemies, for the glories of battle, the forge of war, and the joy of the feast. Where death is glorious, and strength rules all! For we are brothers, warriors, blood, who cresting on the icy flood, do battle in the name of Thor. We are Vikings! Give us war!
Other civilizations. Now even flea-ridden Vikings take us for fools. Rise up, topmost third, for our country!
I, Imperial Pharaoh of the 18th Dynasty, buried by my side, my loyal...
No time to waste. Egypt needs us.
Dare you hurt our people? Brothers, follow me!
Egypt must rise!
Dear Governors, welcome to Rise of Kingdoms. Rules of the first ROK Anniversary Grand Prix. The Grand Prix is divided into the following 3 stages: Team Registration, Team Confirmation, and the Grand Prix stage. Team registration will begin on August 19th. Players can assemble teams each with 30 to 35 players and register for the Grand Prix on the official website. Each captain can create a team on the Grand Prix website. Enter your team name, obtain a team invitation code. Other players can then join the team simply by entering the invitation code on the Grand Prix website. The registered teams will be ranked in order of total battle power. The top-ranked teams will qualify for the Grand Prix. Additionally, star teams will be invited to join the Grand Prix. Team registration closes on August 26th. The team rankings will not be updated after the registration closes. Our staff will contact the top-ranked teams accordingly and confirm their willingness to compete. At this point, if any team drops out, the spot will be filled by the team with the next highest ranking. Dear Governors, do take note of this. Don't miss out on the Grand Prix. The Grand Prix will adopt the gameplay used in Ark of Osiris. Participants will have access to the Rise of Kingdoms esports server and use the official super accounts provided by Rise of Kingdoms to engage in battles. 16 teams will pair up and battle in the best-of-1 single elimination format. The final 2 teams will compete in the final showdown on September the 30th. This Grand Prix offers great rewards. Each player of the champion team will receive the champion's ring, an iPad, and other rewards. Rewards also include game items and other prizes, such as the city theme for the champion of the Grand Prix. All other participants will receive gift cards and game items as rewards. During the Grand Prix, players can place bets on the Grand Prix's official website and redeem rewards. Battle horns blare as the increasing wind rolls the sand. Which team will reach the pinnacle? Stay tuned.
journey to the ruins hidden in the sand to write your story. With the mist so close at hand, your heart is soaring. Take hold of your command and march for glory. Hear the call of Seth and make your stand to the end. Hold on for dear life. To your soldier, faith, your dream. It burns deep inside. The need to reign supreme. It drives you to seize the sacred shrines. Claim final victory. The blessing of the Nile will at last be won when ancient kingdoms rise. For glory!
Time to end our alliance with Barbarossa and his friends. Capture the lost temple, and all the treasure is yours, Kusunoki. As for me, I've come and seen. Now I shall conquer.
What cause is there for such alarm?
Your Majesty, Caesar has betrayed the Alliance. He and Kusunogi Masashige are going to attack our temple.
So, Caesar, our pact with Boudica means nothing to you. Then we shall meet on the battlefield. Tell Boudica, war has found us.
Oh, Barbarossa.
Take the temple!
The sagas speak of a lost kingdom. In earthly Valhalla, where treasure is endless and honor absolute. Our enemies conspired to cheat us of this prize. But these are lonely foes who we have robbed and pillaged many times over. Upstart emperors, gold-drunk kings, glorified shield maidens, and pompous fools. All will fail! Because by the grace of Odin, the sacred map is ours. So prepare, cherished enemies, for the glories of battle, the forge of war, and the joy of the feast. Where death is glorious, and strength rules all. For we are brothers, warriors, blood, who cresting on an icy flood, do battle in the name of Thor. We are Vikings. Give us war!
Mocked by other civilizations. Now even flea-ridden Vikings take us for fools. Rise up, topmost third, for our country!
I, Imperial Pharaoh of the 18th Dynasty, buried by my side, my loyal...
No time to waste. Egypt needs us.
People! Brothers, follow me!
Egypt must rise!
Dear Governors, welcome to Rise of Kingdoms. Rules of the first ROK Anniversary Grand Prix. The Grand Prix is divided into the following 3 stages: Team Registration, Team Confirmation, and the Grand Prix stage. Team registration will begin on August 19th. Players can assemble teams each with 30 to 35 players and register for the Grand Prix on the official website. Each captain can create a team on the Grand Prix website. Enter your team name, obtain a team invitation code. Other players can then join the team simply by entering the invitation code on the Grand Prix website. The registered teams will be ranked in order of total battle power. The top-ranked teams will qualify for the Grand Prix. Additionally, star teams will be invited to join the Grand Prix. Team registration closes on August 26th. The team rankings will not be updated after the registration closes. Our staff will contact the top-ranked teams accordingly and confirm their willingness to compete. At this point, if any team drops out, the spot will be filled by the team with the next highest ranking. Dear Governors, do take note of this. Don't miss out on the Grand Prix. The Grand Prix will adopt the gameplay used in Ark of Osiris. Participants will have access to the Rise of Kingdoms esports server and use the official super accounts provided by Rise of Kingdoms to engage in battles. 16 teams will pair up and battle in the best-of-1 single elimination format. The final 2 teams will compete in the final showdown on September the 30th. This Grand Prix offers great rewards. Each player of the champion team will receive the champion's ring, an iPad, and other rewards. Rewards also include game items and other prizes, such as the city theme for the champion of the Grand Prix. All other participants will receive gift cards and game items as rewards. During the Grand Prix, players can place bets on the Grand Prix's official website and redeem rewards. Battle horns blare as the increasing wind rolls the sand. Which team will reach the pinnacle? Stay tuned.
Journey to the ruins hidden in the sand to write your story. With the mist so close at hand, your heart is soaring. Take hold of your command and march for glory. Hear the call of Seth and make your stand to the end. Hold on for dear life to your soldier faith, your dream. It burns deep inside.
alliance with Barbarossa and his friends. Capture the Lost Temple, and all the treasure is yours, Kusunoki. As for me, I've come and seen. Now I shall conquer.
What cause is there for such alarm?
Your Majesty, Caesar has betrayed the Alliance. He and Kusunogi Masashige are going to attack our temple.
So, Caesar, our pact with Boudica means nothing to you. Then we shall meet on the battlefield. Tell Boudica, war has found us.
Oh, Barbarossa.
Take the temple!
Sagas speak of a lost kingdom. An earthly Valhalla, where treasure is endless and honor absolute. Our enemies conspire to cheat us of this prize. But these are lonely foes who we have robbed and pillaged many.
Hello, everyone. Welcome from across the world, all you wonderful Rise of Kingdoms fans. My name is Dragothian. Beside me, my friend and co-host Chiskel. We're back in some new digs and a new live stream for the fourth match of the Grand Prix bracket that we're in. That being said, I'm glad we've got about 3 minutes, Chiskel, to kind of recap what we got to witness ourselves during the last match. I know that YouTube Live had a little bit of struggles, basically canceling out all the live streams across YouTube, including ours. Very unfortunate for you fine people, because it was a doozy. I tried my best to update folks in the chat as it was happening.
It was crazy.
You know,
unbelievable.
What a crazy match, Chiskel. Absolutely. So again, kind of recap us, Chiskel, and as we go into this final match between OLPA Olympia versus Kingdom 1254, 254 being the name of the team. Recap us from last match, maybe fill in some gaps on what people are wondering. Obviously, some people are still wondering who won last match, and then also, how did it happen?
I mean, I've got to say that 64 PL match was so much closer than the scoreboard will ever represent. Hopefully, the replay will be made available because it was just so nuts. But now we're about to enter into this OLPA 254 matchup, which also should be pretty wild. By the way, also pretty wild. Use the link down below, the code you can claim for some free goodies in-game, which is pretty cool. And don't forget that you can download the PC version using the QR code, which will flash just below me in just a second here. There it is. The team Olympia versus 1254. I mean, Drago, I'm kind of biased here, being from 1254. So,
I'm gonna have to curtail your nepotism.
What do I say here
on this stream? I will take the lead on this match because I know you're just gonna sit here and give T4 all the praise, regardless of if there's a mistake made. I will point it out, people. I will be your objective commentator. Understand that Chiskel is a professional too, and he will do the same thing. We're all teasing here, but that being said, it's going to be a good match. I'm really looking forward to both of these teams playing. Again, I didn't get a chance to see OLPA play. Obviously, last weekend, we got to see 254 last Friday beat their opponent, and they are now in this bracket fighting Olympia. I'm really looking forward to seeing both of these teams really duke it out. We saw 254 really kind of dominate their last match against their opponent. I'm really interested if they deviate from their strategy. And again, you know, last time I also tried to dig for a little bit of information from you, and you were tight-lipped as could be as far as if you could maybe give me a little insight into what they're going to be doing. I feel like it's probably the same thing today, but
no shot.
I'm going to ask. Dang it. I tried to preface it really, really well, but you know, I did my best for you people to try and give you the skinny, but you're going to see some solid teams playing today. And again, being the fourth match of the day, I'm just as excited about this match as I was for the first one today. We've really got a banger here for you to watch here. Welcoming more and more people into the new link on the stream. Again, it got separated from the last one, but that being said, we're into today's matchup screen here. Olympia in blue versus versus 254 in red. OLPA is the team blue and 254 is the team name in red. Chiskel, I gotta ask you, did you get a chance to see the Olympia team last weekend whenever Bulba and Redline were casting it? This was the only match I wasn't able to watch. Did they have anything that we could really kind of take a peek in and see if they're going to bring something special to the table?
Man, I mean, I don't know what tricks these teams are going to pull out of the hat, so to speak. But I'm eager to see something new, something exciting, something different. But I think the safest play to make on the fourth matchup of the day is to follow what the other teams have been doing that works really well. So I think we'll see more solid gameplay with just good fundamentals, good arc fights. We see, by the way, the team's captain and their key combatants on the screen here. Good key mechanics. We're going to see, I think, the standard sets of abilities we've been seeing the whole time. I will be looking for something cool and different, but I just don't expect that we'll see it.
Sure, I can get behind that. I mean, what's safe is what works, right? But it does take something, for something to expand and something to advance, it does take somebody giving it a shot in the most critical circumstances, and that's where we're at. We're in the Grand Prix. This is the most critical that you can find right now until the Osiris League playoffs go. But Captain Bunny on the 254 team, Ruz Redline, Badge Host, Bunny again, and Avid on the key combatants list for 254. We saw Maverick L and crew on the blue team. Wow, that was going to be really crazy. We have Olympia versus 254. I'm looking forward to seeing some changes, maybe some things that you were just describing. Can either of these teams pull something out that we've never seen before? I'm definitely curious to see if that happens this match, and I actually anticipate that happening in maybe some future matches as the brackets continue to unfold. But like I said before, Maverick L right up front for OLPA Olympia. That's a known name in the game right now. He may actually have lost about 2/3 of his current power with how much he normally has in the game, which at 450 million in the Grand Prix is kind of interesting. You also have his compatriots inside of that team. Real Como, of course, coming in there too. We have Blue teleporting in phases like most teams do. It looks like they're maybe short one person. I think, no, they're right. That's exactly, everybody's in. You have 21 on the first 3 rows. Then you have, it looks like 4 on the back row. That's 20. Well, maybe they are a little short. We'll have to see how it goes. Maybe they have one or two more people coming in to fill out their team. On the red side, again, we do have the 254 players that we will be looking at very shortly. Again, they performed very well last week, Jiskel. I'm looking to see if they can stay dominant as the blue team members do start to pour in there on the left side of your screen. I wonder if they can stay dominant this time and go towards the next round and face their next opponent, which we'll find out tomorrow who that will be.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, this is very entertaining. Grab your popcorn, watching levels of Ark of Osiris entertainment. I have truly enjoyed all of the matchups that we've cast. And there's always some sort of twist that we see at some point during the match. So we'll see what it is in this matchup. Whether it's a surprise, I don't even know how to say, Ark steal, where the Ark is going somewhere we wouldn't have expected, and maybe one team will score it that we wouldn't have expected. Or if it's something else, I'll be looking for it all match long.
Yeah, me too. And I think you bring up a great point. Maybe it's not necessarily something from a maneuver standpoint on what we might be looking for that's special, but maybe just one of those special moments, right? And again, I can't stress enough that you guys missed one last match with 64 PL almost winning the match, grabbing victory from the claws of defeat, and ultimately Nuvi did win that matchup and take the crown and move on to the next bracket. Congratulations to both teams, by the way. I know we didn't get a chance to say it live for everybody, but really looking forward to this match, 254 versus Olympia. This is going to be one where I think that 254 needs to come out dominant. I think they're going to do exactly what most teams do at the very beginning with 14 seconds until this match starts and the gates open. I think they're going to go for the Desert Altar. I think they're going to go use T1s to get to the obelisks. I think they're going to try and get their outposts as quickly as possible, start generating those points per minute. And here we go. We've got the split screen going live here. Both teams pouring out. Just go T1 Siege on the top. I do see some provisioning marches already coming out. We talked about that last match. What do you think about that?
I don't see the Siege. Oh, wait, there they are. They're hiding. I mean, I think it's entirely possible we might have missed the Siege coming out of the gates. Like, there, did you see that just now creeping through?
Yes.
Like, I think it's possible we might have missed that earlier on. I don't know. I don't think, however, that running Siege at the start is necessarily the meta.
Yeah, I'm kind of behind you on that. I think you brought up a great point.
All these marches to go and be in the first fight and then send out the Siege.
Yeah, those marches are critical for that Desert Altar. We did point out during the last match that very same point regarding, the marches need to be in particular places throughout the course of the match to optimize their value. And right now at the beginning of the match, I don't know if an extra 200-300 provision points is going to be worth it when maybe those marches could be up helping take the Desert Altar, not only taking 750 points for yourself, but also denying your opponent 750 points. That's a 1,500 point delta that could be done with the simple addition of those 5, 6, 7 marches that might be provisioning for your side. So I think that that's a very valid point to bring up as we start to see this match unfold. Obelisk captured for 254 already. We're just seeing the Obelisk again get captured for the blue team. Rally on the way for 254 on the bottom lane here. All the Obelisks are captured. We do see split screen here, rallies on the board for both sides, 4 each on the board here. Likely 2 outposts or 2 Obelisks on each side. All 4 are Obelisks on both sides there. So self-rallying and opponent rallying. Do you think they're going to be transport rallies, Chisco, on the opposing Obelisks for each team, or do you think they're going to actually try and get these things to hit?
Honestly, with 254, it's really hard to say what the heck's going to happen. I'm saying that genuinely. Like, maybe they will actually go for it. I think it's unlikely, though. Let's be real. I think the meta here is to break the rally and go where you need to go. I think that's the meta.
Certainly.
So you run the rally to your own obelisk, you cap it. You run the rally to the opposing side obelisk, and you cancel it. I don't think we'll see deviation from this. Weirdly enough, at the level of gameplay we're at here, I mean, I don't know. I hope I'm wrong, because that will actually be insanely entertaining. I mean, here we're watching a rally.
Bunny's rally going by right now.
There's the cancel. Thank you. I feel validated. All right. I can relax now, Drago.
As we were talking about it, of course, we've said it before. As soon as we say something about it, they're going to do the exact opposite. But luckily for you, Bunny did cancel that rally, and they're now looking to pressure that Desert Altar like most teams do, including the one you're seeing right in front of you. The Olympia blue team is coming down towards the Desert Altar of 254. Decent positioning for the Olympia team. A couple of spread out marches. Interesting to see this strategy here. Are they trying to delay more and more marches coming through? They're just going to send them right on through to try. Yeah, look at the top. A lot of the players, instead of letting it go right by, are actually swarming it backwards, removing some marches from the initial clash. And right now, OLPA is really having a solid punch right now on their front line. It does look like 254, though, is getting in front of that Desert Altar just at the right moment. Just sliding in front of there as more and more of their marches come into effect here. I did see a few marches from the Blue Olympia team peel off and go towards the bottom Shrine of Life there too on the bottom lane. So interesting to see as we wait for this this capture mechanic to come through on the split screen. 32 seconds left until these things open up. Interesting to see how they play out and how they initially get captured and who can defend some of these structures. So Chisco, what do you think is going to be coming? Who are you forecasting based off of the split screen to come out on top? Putting you on the spot.
Looking at the positions here, I mean, we have 10 seconds till they land. This is contentious. I mean, anyone can get in and be faster. I actually do see more blue on both of these screens, though, honestly. Who's it going to be?
It does look like it.
Blue on the right. It
always matters who's first. And blue on the left. Enter Sky Altar.
Is it blue on the left?
I can't see anything right now.
I saw the Sky Altar flip over.
Yeah, that's what I thought was happening.
Altar.
But those are skies.
Yeah. I think it's blue.
One red, one blue.
I can't tell.
Nope. Red on the left.
One red, one blue?
100%.
Okay. Okay.
Red on the left, blue on the right. Wow. So they did take their own Desert Altars, it looks like, Chisco, but still a contentious fight on the bottom lane there for 254. There does seem to be a cleanup crew there for them, though. OLPA trying desperately to get that Desert Altar and at least delay the point generation for 254, but it looks like no reinforcements coming in behind this push from Olympia, so it looks like 254 will eventually be able to clean this up as they continue to press their marches down towards the Shrine of War and eventually, I'd imagine, rounding that corner towards the middle or going left and trying to refresh their marches by bashing them against cities. Now, we do have a little bit of a disparity on the structures. Again, you're looking at it right now. Shrine of Life is in the blue team's favor, Olympia. And again, I mentioned this earlier. A few marches did peel away from the Desert Altar push crew, and it looks like they were able to capture and are starting to try and hold this. Now, it's not the 750 points that the Desert Altar gives, but it's, I believe it's 300 points for the initial capture for the shrines. So that's still a little bit of points, a 600-point swing, assuming that's correct. But again, I mean, it's relatively even, and once 254 gets that Shrine of Life back, which I'm assuming they'll eventually do, the middle fight will get started here in about 5.5 minutes. Everything's blinking, though, Chisco. 4 rallies on the board. When do we go to the middle? Owning this shrine pretty decisively.
I mean, normally you look to like the 5 to 6 minute mark for going to middle. By that point, I would expect if we put the camera on the middle, we'd start to see something. Maybe 6 minutes is early, honestly. And that's probably true. Big swarm here, by the way, on the Shrine of War. Jad, captain. Pretty much I would say a very safe choice for captain here. And the structures are all mixed up, honestly. I mean, a lot of structures blinking. A couple flipped red in the back for the outpost, but a couple other important structures like Shrine of Life are currently blue. I mean, this is a very contentious game already. Shrine of War is going to flip. 254 is taking some heat here, goes. And the structures, I would say, are definitively advantaged to Olympia at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's the altars are even, which is obviously the most highly generating point total buildings, but 2 shrines down does stack up, and again, more than that, more than the points, it's the delay, it's the distraction, it's the fact that now 254, unless they want to go to the middle with 4 minutes left, which is what they should be doing, they should all be there already, are going to have to spend resources, and when I say resources, I mean players, going and getting these structures back, just like they did on the Shrine of Life there at the bottom. Now 254 did a major top tier move here and took the Sky Altar from Olympia, effectively nullifying some of the advantage that they may have had. So now 3 altars in favor of 254 with 3 minutes and 45 seconds left. 254 looks pretty strong on that temple as well, Chisco.
Yeah, I would agree that 254 does have some presence here, but there are times when I'm like, oh man, that grouping looks like so many more marches than it actually is. That does not look like that many marches to me, actually.
I mean, it's not a massive
Olympia has. But it doesn't look like that many marches to me. So
no, you're right. It's so early.
This mid fight could go to anybody. And given how the opening break has gone, I will say hello, 3 altars, hello. So this is looking actually, from a structure standpoint, now maybe favorable to 254. And from a point standpoint, like, honestly, this is even. I mean, this is anybody's game. This is a hot matchup from the start. And, I mean, I don't know how this is going to go, Drago. Like, I don't. There's a way more presence than I would have expected. Actually, I have an opinion now. Okay, I have an opinion. There's actually way more presence than I would have expected from Olympia on that Shrine of War. I wonder if they have a building plan here. And that building plan is going to see reduced presence in the middle. And then the middle flips 254. There's just a lot of marches chilling at the Shrine of War right now, which typically you would either see resetting or somehow getting to mid. Because now I would say that 254 has that presence in the middle that's going to be really difficult. Maneuvering by Olympia, heading to the left.
They can't be just this late, right, Chisco? I don't think that Olympia is just this late, being 2 minutes until the arc spawns, right? Like, there has to be a structure plan with... They just captured their altar back, which is good for them, but 254 held it for a considerable amount of time. I'd say 3 minutes if I had to put a number on it, which is at least a point if you used hard push, which I didn't actually see at the beginning, but it might have been me missing it. But again, like you said, there's a heavy presence on these structures. Rally plus Swarm on that Sky Altar on the top lane, and Olympia is positioning like they're trying to press the attack in the middle as well. Is it a distraction play with now 3 altars being in favor of the blue Olympia team? And I guess the other question is, now that this is kind of starting to unfold, does 254 adjust, or do they just go with the flow and say, okay, let's just grab the arc as quick as we can, let's roll? But now we see more and more marches for Olympia starting to pour in. This could be just a late push to the middle that's starting to take place. And I guess, what do they do? What does 254 do? They're all over the place.
I think this is really interesting here. 254 is just staying balled up. Look at how tight that is. Nobody's going anywhere. Multiple bait marches dangling in front of 254.
Stand of the 300
and they're
over
just
here.
chilling. this match is just unfolding in ways that are different than what we've casted earlier today. And I told you there's always something unexpected. I guess at the start I said we'd see just like some standard stuff. And then there's this. So we see OLPA spread out. Now war drums for blue. So blue's moving in. They're very spread out on how they've engaged. Half the people still aren't engaged from the back of the ball, where the whole team in red, well, with the exception of a few arc carriers, is engaged. War drums activated by Bunny Bot. So I think this is a mirror play of War Drum's Mystical on both sides, but I'm not exactly sure. The arc appears. Yeah, the carriers are grabbing it.
The Shrine of War is still on the Olympia's side. I guess they're banking on these stats, really helping them in the middle. And right now we're seeing a little bit of an even trade at the moment. Let's see if either side really starts to lose some of their marches. The arc is down. Looks like it was grabbed there for just a moment by the red 254 team. It's looking fairly even in the middle. I see 1 or 2 marches going back for the blue team. I don't think they did. Did they do they did do Mystical Formation? No, that's 254. I don't think they did Mystical Formation on this fight I think they just did War Drums, if I'm not mistaken. Then that will basically nullify the advantage they might have had with having that Shrine of War for so long. Now 254 taking the Sky Altar on the bottom lane while this middle fight continues. And now it's looking like 254 is at least starting to clear out the marches, but look how many more marches are coming out for 254 too. This is a middle fight that's definitely still up in the air, although now blue is starting to lose a lot more marches than 254. This is still anybody's fight, I think.
I don't know who's going to win this. This looks like the kind of mid-fight that honestly... I mean, this feels blue to me. But all the blue marches are getting sad face, so how does that work?
Yeah, maybe they just had way more players, but I mean, I will say they did have a lot more.
Look at all the blue
I think,
sad
coming
faces.
In.
Like, I'm not biased.
Starting to turn red.
There's a lot of blue sad faces, but I think blue's winning. I don't understand how this works.
I don't know.
This could be the kind of mid fight where you send back to mid. I think this is the mid fight where you send back to mid.
Absolutely. You need to take your Sky Altar back too if you're the blue team on the bottom lane. It looks like they are trying to do that. It is blinking at the moment, likely swarming it down and a rally maybe on the way, but this is looking very red to me. The blue team is starting to lose the final vestiges of its middle fight arc team.
Holy.
And now 254 has roughly cleared this area and has the arc secured and moving back on the bottom lane towards the bottom desert altar or obelisk. I can't really tell which direction that line's going yet because we're still staring at the temple there, but it looks like for the most part everything's cleared out. Now, if you are Olympia, you should have already been sending marches down on the bottom lane if you want to still contend for this arc. I'm curious to see if they do that or if they're going to switch back to the structure game quickly. But right now I see 0 blue marches on the screen and everything is turning up red right now for the arc team, which is very solid for the 254 team. They have a slight lead right now, but it's diminishing quickly because of the structure game that was happening during the fight. But with a 3,000 point arc in your pocket, you can go ahead and count that in the bank from what it looks like. Focusing on the Sky Altar, again, is 254, but it looks like they will hold. Olympia will hold this. Sky Altar on the top lane as well for the 254 team is under duress, but looks like 254 is pushing the initiative, even having those players from Olympia coming down to try and take it. That Jadwiga is looking very strong on that Sky Altar for 254. Doesn't look like it's going to go down anytime soon. It does look like the arc is going towards the obelisks. Now, again, I'm going to ask, any insight? Do you think they're going to capture it quickly, or do you think they're going to hold it?
I am not sure. Going into the matchup, I know last week I had said 254 likes to get practice when there's good practice to be had, and they want to run lots of mid fights. But this matchup is so close. I feel like the goal is going to be to play whatever gets you the W. So I think this is a team that's comfortable going for arcs, but that mid fight, I mean, what's your impression from that mid fight, Drago? Let me ask it this way. Do you think 254 leaves that mid fight feeling like we want to run 3 arcs, or do you think they leave that mid-fight thinking, this is a little dicey, maybe we want to make this a 2-arc game?
Well, I mean, that was effectively my question to you, but I'll answer my question myself and say that if you're looking at this match, right, we saw that middle fight go down. Olympia was 1 buff down. I also think that, like you said, during the initial clash of the battle, it looked like 254 really had a stronger positioning and start to that fight. Olympia kind of trickled in with a pointed attack instead of a flat attack, meaning only the first section of that ball that Olympia had really started the engagement, which triggered 254 to start popping their buffs all at the same time. They were all able to attack at the same time, whereas Olympia was still adding more and more marches that weren't even fighting for a good 10-15 seconds. So that really helped 254 secure that victory in the middle, even though they had a shrine down from a stat standpoint, but had extra buffs from their alliance skills. So I don't know if they necessarily garnered anything from, we can definitely beat these guys open field, no problem, but I do think they should hold at least until they're ready to push. So I think there's probably a middle ground here that 254 will deploy, where they're going to make sure they have it secured back at their obelisk, which they do right now. They're going to make sure that they have everybody refreshed and going out before they capture it. But I think they should capture it and not hold on to it for another, 10, 12, 13 minutes. I don't see the value in that for them.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say generally the play is to wait until your skills reset. I think they're going for 3 arcs in this game. I think
that
they
means
go
they
for
would need
3.
to capture it soon. Yeah.
I think they feel comfortable enough. I really don't know. I mean, they held 3 altars and won the arc. So, although going into it, it was a little dicey. It was really dicey with the structures. I think this feels like go for 3. No, the real question then is, do you use to the death in this next arc or not?
Well, they should be down by 2 points as far as the dynamic in the middle. So ideally what you want to see is Olympia try and use something, whether it's Heaven's Grace or to the death for this second fight. Obviously, it's worth more money being the second arc in the match versus the first. And then with the structure game, again, now flipping back towards Olympia with an altar and a shrine on the top and bottom lane going blue, 254 has done a great counter job by taking the outposts of Olympia on the back end. So nullifying some of that damage that they may be receiving on the front line of their own buildings, taking that shrine back on the bottom lane is 254 as well. I mean, all over the place, both of these teams are trying to do what they can to go ahead and eke out any points they possibly can squeeze towards their team. This arc is still, again, being held. I'd be curious to see if they wait a little bit longer or not. It looks like 254 is reset and ready to go. That altar at the top may have delayed it by just a little bit, possibly, but I still think they should probably grab this. I think you're right. 3 arcs should be the play here. 2 arcs may be what we get, though, from what it's looking like.
Yeah, I feel like most games you can expect 3 arcs. It's so hard to actually make it a 2-arc game. You'd have to see a full delay on this first arc in order for that to happen. It just doesn't feel to me like the call that 254 would make. Well, I mean, I'm not saying they wouldn't in different circumstances, but...
Well, like you said, they're playing for the W right now, right? I know that they do like to have practice, but maybe they're practicing holding the arc instead of capturing it quickly. We'll have to find out. Maybe you can give us some insight into that later in future conversations. But right now, I do see another 254 rally going out. Looks like it's heading towards either the obelisk or the Shrine of Life. Looks like both teams have 2 altars right now, but they're not the ones they're supposed to have. So contentious fights across the map here. Obelisks are all secure for both teams right now too. Now 3 altars for 254, taking their own back and now losing one Olympia's desert altar on the top lane too. So now it's evened up the way it's supposed to be. Again though, outposts still red for Olympia. At least throughout this match, I've seen at least 1, 2, sometimes all 3 of those outposts for Olympia be red, And that's something that may pay dividends considering they've been doing this. 254 has the entire match is harassing those outposts. Those points add up, everyone. That's not a small drop in the bucket, especially when you get all three, or if you get 2 out of the 3, those points stack up quite considerably.
Yeah, I mean, you made a good point in one of our previous casts that marching that far downfield, it's like a 10-minute walk. It's honestly a very difficult task to be the player who has to run the marches that do the backfield disruption. It's very difficult to do. Like the level of multitasking and skill that goes into needing to look in so many places all at once really is significantly elevated. So it's not an easy thing to do, but to your point, it pays off really well. And I've got to say, the Shrine of War in the hands of Olympia is paying off dividends as well. Those extra stats are super worth in all this fighting going on now. 7 minutes and 15 seconds till we go to the middle. Well, I should say till the arc spawns in the middle, which means there's only a little bit of action left before people need to be thinking about how they're going to get there. And it's a minute to get back to your city if you want to refresh your troops. Depending on how far out you are, then you make your way to middle. It's actually kind of remarkable how early you need to start to think about when you're going to mid. And this 254 Desert Altar is going through a real captain identity crisis. We had a Gilga. We have an Amanatori. Okay. What happened to Jad? Where's the Jad? Where's the Xeno?
We asked about,
Drago, I have to
see anything new.
Well, the newness of commander choices so far has, I think, not gone well. Would you agree? Like, the people that seem to stick to the mold tend to get the W's. So when I see something new and different, maybe it's good, but like, is it good or is it cute?
I mean, I don't know if there's a correct answer to that, but I will say, I mean, looking at the rally, I think obviously the point there was that they were rallying with an Archer rally, and the best thing to do, just like all rallies in Osiris League, is you want to fill it with a proper garrison, and obviously you're going to throw an Amanatori Artemisia combo in your Archer rally so that you can switch to it and have a proper defense. Now, that being said, is it the best one? Probably not. That's why none of the other top tier teams are using it when able to choose that way. And I guess that the biggest point from that whole thing I just said is, why are they rallying with archers? Like, traditionally, again, you're going to be rallying with those cavalry, not just because it's faster for the rally to get there and obviously faster for the reinforcements to get there, but also because Jadwiga is kind of the meta. Jadwiga Theo, Jadwiga YSS, heck, even Jadwiga Nevsky, although not nearly as prevalent here, but it is doable. That's what's winning these fights, because of movement speed. Movement speed is so critical in this game mode. We talked about it, how long it takes to get across the map. Reinforcements are critical regardless of what you're doing, whether it's an open field fight in the middle for the arc, or whether you're trying to reinforce the forward structure, or you're trying to swap out your garrison in your structure, trying to make sure that somebody else doesn't take it. So you have to make sure that you are always moving, always progressing forward. And speaking of progressing forward, we're going to be looking towards the middle here very soon. Just under 5 minutes left until this next arc spawns. Who uses to the death first? That's the question.
It's... I say genuinely that I don't know what the answer is. If you use to the death on the second arc or the third arc. I think if you're afraid of a team holding the arc, you have to use to the death and go big on the second arc. So I think Olympia actually is now forced. Look at that scoreboard differential here. I think 254 has been discreetly eking out a point advantage from these buildings, and I only just noticed now, like, hey, it's adding up. So we seem to run into this situation over and over, Drago, where there's a arc's worth of point differential, right? And one team obviously is advantaged by having more points. In this case, I think that Olympia needs to fear the 2-arc game. And if they're afraid of the 2-arc game, they have to make sure they win. If they're going to make sure they win, they have to go big on ability points. So I think Olympia most likely uses to the death here. So then the question is, how does 254 counter it? 254 can counter it if they have it on their ability bar by using, a healing ability, which we've seen done in the past. It's powerful. It works. Wouldn't recommend Mending Pouch. But the bigger healing ability for 4 points could work. Or they mirror the play. And I feel like The safest course of action is to mirror what your enemy is doing if you think you're better. Given that 254 won the first arc, I think they mirror the play.
Yeah, I think that's pretty
so
sound
all that to
logic.
say, I think we're going to see it to the death from both sides.
Yeah, I think it's pretty sound logic. And you know, as we're going into this mid-fight, 254 with the structure advantage, Shrine of Life and Sky Altar on top and bottom lanes in 254's favor. No stat bonuses, although it looks like Olympia is trying to take the Shrine of War on the top lane away from 254 while they assemble in the middle. A couple contingents of troops here on the bottom trying to make some moves to do... I have no idea, but they're doing something down there. I'm not quite sure what the goal is for that. Maybe to try and disrupt some of the reinforcements coming in. They better disrupt more than 4 marches worth, because that's what they're committing to do that. More and more troops piling in from both sides, though, as it looks like Olympia does take their shrine back on the top lane, continuing to attack the Shrine of War on the top lane of 254, and still trying to get their Sky Altar back on the bottom lane. So lots to do for both teams here. It looks like also there's a little bit of outpost harassment as well from Olympia, now kind of noticing that and taking advantage of some spread out troops from 254 is Olympia. Still trying to get that back there. It looks like they have enough to maybe get it done, but this middle fight's going to, I think, really set the tone for the rest of the match. Both teams literally almost touching each other if that temple wasn't there. Sad.
Hey, this is really interesting.
Face.
Somebody's out of position, but I get really anxious with so many people diverting to deal with that player. It looks like that's changed. I mean, we saw in the last arc, Olympia really tried to bait this fight. And look at this, man. I mean, this reminds me of a moment where, you know how boxers before a fight, they kind of line up and they get heads touch, nose to nose. They're in each other's faces. They're both like kissing that temple, man. They're right there, locking eyes, getting ready for this brawl.
Yeah, just continuing to harass on the bottom lane without actually doing anything. I think that the people in the 254 voice chat for this team was like, get back in the ball, get back over here, do not engage them on the bottom side. Now it looks like they're going to try and make a push here.
Yeah.
Okay, engagement happening.
Look at this surround. Here's the surround. Mystical formation, war drums symmetric on both sides here. Bunny bot, Heaven's Grace. They're not going for the counter, they're going for the heal. Mirror. Okay. It's Heaven's Grace. Bunny bot. Mystical formation. So it's even abilities. Who's better? This is the throwdown where we find out.
Wait and see.
It might just be who brought more troops to the middle, to be honest. I said, who's better, but it might actually come down to who brought more bodies. And the map is otherwise even.
And who's not dying. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, generally, the marches that people bring are about the same at this point. Like, you know, in other matches where we've seen something different, we call it out, and that is 254 with the grab. That arc is on the run. Moving down through the middle, into the cluster, and down on the ground. Arc is ever so slightly moved now to one side. Looks like that was a dedicated carrier who made that grab. From here...
This is looking very blue for me, though, Chisco. I'm not sure what you're seeing, but blue is looking to dominate this middle fight here.
I felt that way earlier.
Yeah, they're spread out really well.
Was winning, and I couldn't understand. I was like, all I see is blue. I was like, all I see is blue.
Red's just
but
sneaky
it was
also
all blue sad faces at the time, so it was confusing. But look at how much this ball has pushed down. What is happening here?
Well, they're chasing the
I don't
carrier.
understand how the fight has shifted so much.
I mean, that's the direction the arc carrier was going, so I think that they're definitely trying to get down there. Blue does have the arc, and they are trying to move it. Not sure if it's going very fast.
That arc has actually got a really nice buffer. I think blue wins this
does.
arc.
Oh my goodness. Yes, great pull from blue, keeping that thing back towards the temple. The fight is still remaining far south to where the arc is now, though. Really trying to push 254 off of this arc to try and pull it back is Olympia. Now, in the meantime, again, 254 does have the Shrine of Life on the top lane in their favor, in addition to their normal complement. So they are winning the points per minute advantage game right now with a 4,300 point advantage is 254 as well. So this arc, 3,500 points, won't get Olympia completely back to square one, but it gets them a lot closer. And we all know as we get closer and closer towards the end of this match with 25 minutes left, this last arc after this could be the difference maker. It looks like Blue has kind of knotted this thing up. Now let's see if 254 tries to do a counter push as the arc falls again to this almost dead Nevsky and Guan trying to chase it down. I think that they're going to try and hold it, but 254 doing a great job securing structures on the back end away from Olympia, making this arc capture cost as much as possible for them to get it. And it is moving. I don't see any more red unless that little bottom right corner there is included in my notes. But now we see Blue pulling towards the Shrine of War, but red is going for the Desert Altar, guys. Red is going for the Desert Altar, and they already have the obelisk on the top lane of Olympia as well. That is now red. I'm curious to see up there if it's a solid red or if it's one that's going to get swarmed down quickly. Do you think 254 will teleport troops up there to try and capture it?
Yep.
And you can return it in their city.
254 would port. I think 254 would port. They hold that obelisk.
I think for sure
porting.
they would.
You can count on it.
I think for sure they would. And they will teleport on there to capture.
It might not be the right play, but dang, it would be entertaining. And there's just too many people who couldn't help themselves. But with 1 minute and 10 seconds, I mean, Blue's got time to get this back. They'll sort that out, right?
Yeah, I think so too. You know, maybe
they're walking right past it, right? They're gonna sort that out, aren't they?
Maybe. So it might not be the right play, but it's definitely the 254 play, and that's what we're looking for here. See some port ends.
Hello?
And, they're trying. They're trying. Obelisk, 40 seconds left.
40 seconds to resolve the matter now? Hello?
I wonder if this was empty. No, it looks like it's going down pretty good to one march.
I think that's a single march. Look at the health. Look at the health of the thing attacking it. Yeah, it's a single march. We're looking at a little duel here.
Yeah, it looks like Guan will win this duel, by the way.
XY with
20 seconds,
Nevsky?
though. I would mark.
No,
attack,
Honda.
Attack.
Last. I
there
think it's going to... Oh! The other player free. Now I don't think they're going to make it. There's no shot they make it with 2 marches on them.
Could you imagine?
There's no shot.
If
There's
that
no
Trajan,
shot. Before the Ethel Trajan got in there, it could have happened.
4, 3, 2, 1. Do it. Port now. Port now. Please port. Oh.
Didn't happen. Did
any ports happen?
There may not be a teleport spot, though, actually. Like, they may...
That could also be the thing.
If you look at their configuration there, they ported in a way that might actually protect it defensively.
I was kind of hoping...
Here you can see Zero Demon. Zeroed in on the Arc Carrier. That carrier will likely fall down. However, friends arriving for OLPA... they will take down Zero Demon. Will Zero Demon try to pick up the Arc? You know, we encountered this matter earlier, Drago. If Zero Demon picks up the Arc, that will reset the Arc timer. And then this Arc could be held. And I think if you're Olympia, you hold.
He just didn't have the chance.
No, but he was not able to pick it up. Now, let's actually look at the
Why do you say that?
10 minutes on the Arc. Yeah, there's a third Arc here. The only way there's not a third Arc... Well, yeah, I mean, there's a third Arc. There's just not a lot of time to score it, is there?
Yeah, I mean, it didn't reset, so there's 10 minutes left until the Arc spawns.
It's narrow.
You know, you were saying it would make sense for them to hold. Tell me about that, because to me, I would think based off the structures, the way they look right now, they need to hold until they take their structures back, but they need to immediately cap it and try and get another Arc, because right now, and that's exactly what they did.
You think OLPA needs the Arc? You think they can't win the building?
I think they need it. Look how dominating.
Oh, yeah, 4 altars.
Look at the map. It's red.
Yeah, okay, they need the Arc.
This next Arc.
And they scored it immediately. Yeah, they needed to.
Yeah.
They're only going to have like 2 minutes with that Arc. Like, there's not going to be a lot of time to score it. All you'd need to do is have a lead, install it in order to win if you're 1254. Assuming equal provisioning, but who knows what we can assume, right? It's very hard to say.
No, I think there's still plenty of time for this arc to be captured. There's 21 minutes left in the match, 7.5 minutes until this next arc spawns. There's going to be a good, probably 5-6 minute fight in the middle, and you'll still have time to bring it back, but you got to be really sure that's what you want to do. We've talked about it earlier, right? Do you go all in on the middle? 254 clearly is able to take over on the structure game when allowed to. Do you want to, grab for something and maybe get your hand cut off because you're not, holding down the fort at home while you're trying to win this middle fight? Both teams have won a middle fight respectively, so each team has proven they can win an arc match on the middle. So who takes it? I mean, right now it's knotted up for the most part. It's about a 2,000 point game right now in favor of 254, and it does look like it will expand a little bit more just because they had the map so red earlier. 254 really pushing the structure game as Olympia was able to capture the second arc.
I'm just watching this desert altar with bated breath, Drago. To see which way it goes.
That's kind of what I was going to.
The marches are getting low, but the garrison... Okay, just kidding. The garrison's now filled up. Topped up. The march swapping is working. Okay, the scoreboard. 19,421 to 21,972. 19 minutes and 40 seconds left in the match. 6 minutes and 15 seconds till the arc spawns in. That's 3 minutes and 15 seconds to score the next arc, right? That's... No, wait.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's about right.
I'm sorry. I'm still acting like they
so.
held the arc forever before scoring it. Just kidding. Just kidding. They're having a ton of time to work this arc. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
In my head, I was still thinking they were playing that 2-arc game, but no. They got plenty of time. Yeah. There's plenty. of time.
What they really need to do is hold their structures.
The 2-arc game possibility here.
They want to hold their structures. They want to make sure they have a solid middle fight performance, but again, not at the cost of their own buildings. And if they can even squeak away and get a few more structures started to get rallied and swarmed on the opponent's team, Olympia has a solid shot to pull the victory out here. But 2,500 point advantage, almost actually 3,000 point advantage for 254 right now. This next arc is worth 4, so there is a light at the end of the tunnel for Olympia to claw back into this match, but this is 254's match for the taking. They just have to be solid, hold their structures, and at least perform a little bit in the middle like they did last time even, and they can actually take this thing, no questions asked, go after the structures while the mid-fight's going. Both teams basically need to do the same strategy.
Yeah. This is pretty intense. I mean, the structure game is I'm looking at the points now, it's relatively even, 560 to 590. Okay. That's fine.
Oh, yeah.
But the points are about 3,000 different. I mean, there's like almost an arc worth of points here of advantage for 1254.
Yeah, it's 3,000 point lead for 254. It's a 1,000 point delta right now, but again, that's assuming all the structures remain basically the same. And who's to say in 17 minutes that that's going to be the case, considering how many of these buildings have flipped back and forth over and over and over again on both sides. There's points where Olympia has dominated the map and only left 254 with maybe 3 buildings, and then vice versa. Sometimes 254 only looked like 2 buildings, besides the outposts, of course. But again, I mean, I think with the advantages coming in here, 254 has really dominated the outpost game. I know it's small. I know it's not the flashy play, but all of those disruptions on the points per minute have totaled up, I think, and really you're starting to see the fruits of that labor come into play. 3,000 point advantage in combination with having those extra 2 buildings for so long. 254 has really built themselves a buffer. So now they can go ahead and go to this mid-fight confident that even if they don't win it, as long as they delay and continue to push the structures, which right now they just took a desert altar away from Olympia, that is devastating for the blue team right before this arc spawns in 3.5 minutes.
Man, this is such a close game. Anything could happen from this mid-fight. Anyone can win this game. It's actually very close. Mid-presence, probably about even. I'd say maybe it's slightly more red, but if you count the blue that are off to the side there, doing the distraction thing, it's probably about even. Yeah, I think it's about even. So it's not going to be.
I wonder if this is going to be
adopted.
Yeah,
it's going to be about who plays it best.
Adopted from other players. that little shuffle that they're doing on the bottom. I wonder if other teams are going to adopt that strategy, or if it's even effective. I mean, what do you think? Is that effective for disrupting 254's flow into the middle? I mean, I see some people coming down right now, obviously to try and attack them. You know,
do we call it an Olympia shuffle from now on? That's the play, an Olympia shuffle.
Right.
When they run some marches out to the side and shake them about, dangle them in front of you. Hello, tasty treat. Do you want it?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Olympia now moving more of their ball down south.
The chat bringing up a very good point. We have to also consider provisions. And both teams are. This is such a close match. Provisions could play a major role in this match, in addition to this arc that spawns in 2 minutes. But like you said, they are moving heavy to the bottom. Where are they? Are they just all balling up on the wall there? What? I'm curious to see how this strategy plays out, because I've never seen a team ball up in the middle of the bottom lane wall like they're doing right now, effectively giving up the temple area on both sides. I guess the question is it a distraction strategy? Is it a making the other team make a decision strategy?
They're trying to cut off all the people getting to the middle from the bottom. Right? Now all the people trying to get to middle from bottom can't get there. It's interesting.
Oh, look at the
it's
surround.
Different.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know that we've seen it.
I've never seen
it
like this.
254's on the move. Which way are they going? They're cutting left.
Spawns in a minute.
Lot of space for where the arc is, but space isn't going to determine who wins or loses it to the death. I think that's a really clean to the death here. That's really clean for OLPA. Bunny to the death as well. The fight was clearly engaged, but I thought if there's a textbook use of to the death, OLPA pulled it right there.
Yep.
All your
Just
marches are nice
into it.
and lined up to battle. Pop to the death, for sure. That's nice. Sad face is now going for both sides. Lot of tension around this arc. 254, healthy lead, but if this arc goes OLPA, it's their game to win. OLPA won the last arc in the mirror skill matchup. You've got to be feeling pretty good about that if you're OLPA, and pretty stressed if you're 254. I'm not in the game, I'm stressed.
Do you see any other skills getting popped? I mean, was it just that one set of skills there? Like,
that's it.
Like, I don't see anything else getting popped. I'm curious. There should be points.
I don't think they could have, because it was such a fast turnaround, right? Even in my brain, I was like, oh, they held the arc a while, but they didn't.
No.
They didn't hold it really at all.
I feel like they could have popped at least a mystical or something. What are those marches doing on the left side? They're just kind of sitting there. Is that real or is that fake? Looks real to me.
Nope, they jumped around.
They're moving now. Okay, they just jumped across. Okay.
They're kind of jumping around. But I see a lot. Am I biased, Drago? I see a lot of blue sad faces going on right now. Now some red. Now some red. I think it just looks like there's more blue because we see more of the blue walkway back. You know.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why
there's a lot of red here too. This is anybody's fight still, but this is every minute that goes by. There it is.
There's war drums
from Bunnybot.
So that's how you know they were really close to having enough ability points, but not there yet.
Now Opa gets the
This is actually pretty down to the wire.
It's pretty even, I think. Yeah, blue's starting to come through here a little bit more as we start to see more and more marches thin from the middle. We have Boudica Prime versus Boudica Prime on the bottom left. Both marches almost completely dead. It looks like the open march does become successful and win that match. Now coming to the middle with a sliver of health left to try and do as much damage as possible. The blue team losing more and more marches, but again, like you said, we can't really see the bottom of the murder ball here, so we're not seeing all the sad faces from 254's side. Now we're starting to see some of that, and we're starting to see blue start to come in more and more as a wave. Looking at the map, it looks pretty even. We do have a 300-point lead in favor of 254 right now. Everything is knotted up 590 to 590 points wise. Looks like more and more 254 are coming into the middle now too. Working to their advantage is the fact that it is closer to their side. So this is a good fight for 254 to take. Even if they delay the arc from being captured, that is a winning move. More and more Olympia coming in from the top. as well, trying to grab this, but 254 has the arc right now, Chisco. If they continue to hold this, Olympia could see their chances slip away on taking this fight.
I don't know who's getting this arc. Both teams are resetting to middle. 254 does have good presence, but there's plenty of OLPA to disrupt this until more people arrive from either side.
I don't know. That's starting to look very 254 heavy. I see
Is
OLPA
it?
coming in, but it's trickling, and I'm seeing a lot more dense red players than blue players where the fighting's happening. Now, the arc, on the other hand, is beelining it towards the bottom.
Holy.
Yeah, it is gone, dude.
That arc's cruising. That is what we talked about earlier today, where we said, hey, if you get a nice breakaway with that arc, it's pretty devastating. That's the pretty devastating breakaway that you really don't want to see if you're OLPA.
Yeah, still a 3,300 point match to school with this arc in Red's hands. This is going to come down to the wire. I think we got 9 minutes 50, so just under 10 minutes left in this arc. If blue cannot stop 254 from capturing this arc, and every line from the blue team is now targeting the arc right in front of you. That's their only target right now. I can see 254 starting to possibly also shift their troops towards structures to alleviate any possibility should they lose this arc. Oh, I take it back. Blue taking the Shrine of Life on the bottom lane and defending on the top lane. Blue has to do everything they can. Olympia needs to do everything they can to get this arc back and take it for their side. This is slipping away for them. 3,200 points right now in favor of 254. Olympia not looking like they're very heavy right now, but coming down the bottom lane here to try and get in front of this arc carrier in between them and the obelisk on the bottom lane. The map is starting to look quite blue, Chisco, although both altars are
there's
still
plenty
in
of blue
favor
here
of
to
254.
disrupt this arc. There's plenty of blue here to disrupt
They're
this arc.
coming. There's a lot of red in between, though.
This
They're
is
gonna have to
not
go through a
over.
buzzsaw.
This is not over. This is so far from over. Here, let me make a prediction for you. Blue will get the advantage in this fight. And if red gets here fast enough, red will then win it conclusively. But if they don't, blue is going to score this arc. That is my prediction for what's about to happen.
Does blue...
The reason
have
I say
to
that is
capture
you've
this
got
arc to
basically
win?
the entirety of the blue team having reset their marches in the middle coming here. Whereas red still has a bunch of low health marches from the mid fight, slowly crawling around, trying to get back to being relevant. So I think there is a window here for OLPA to score this arc and win this game. I think the window's super real. And although the arc is in a favorable position, this to me illustrates why I really don't like running an arc to an outpost, and I think this path was very clean. The reason I say it's very clean is that it's pretty far from the altar, which I think is going to flip blue. It's also closer to where red can refresh by the obelisks and bring fresh marches to come help. I don't know what will happen here.
I'm trying to see these structures and how they're playing out too, because there's a very real chance to school that what if now the objective from Olympia is just to prevent 254 from capturing the arc, because it's now less than the 3,000 point game and they have 3 altars. So with 7 minutes left, if they can hold this desert altar and delay this, now it's 2 shrines in favor of Olympia as well. This map is turning very blue. Now it just went back to red.
I don't think you can win this game on buildings. I think they have to score it.
It's now a 3,000 point match again. Provision's coming in, I think.
I think OLPA has to score this arc. And if you're
going to come down to the wire.
Yeah, if you're in 254, you just go straight to the nearest building, and you can see they've already targeted Cam City. You see that yellow line, the Cam City?
Yeah.
They're going for it.
I don't think there's enough blue here. There's just not enough Olympia here. It's just not enough. The arc's down, but there's just a buzzsaw. Obviously, the reinforcements coming from these cities are going to be so quick. I just don't see
I think
enough
this is the
insatiable
path
desire
you've
used.
got to take the arc when you're in a struggle. You got to go to a city, man. Because the city is so dangerous for OLPA. They can't score at the city. And to try to run it to the obelisk is too dangerous for OLPA to score it there. Like, it's just entering deeper into the cities. I think this has got to be
Arc
the optimal
captured.
way. You take an arc. There it is.
254, looking like they're securing the victory here with 5 minutes, just under 6 minutes left to go in this match. OLPA doing everything they can to try and stop that from happening. Hard push being used by Bunnybot for 254, continuing to press the initiative, get these structures back. But I think there's just not enough structures to really do the job to catch up now to an almost 7,000 point lead for 254. What a match, just go always to the very end. The last two matches especially, and especially the first match too. Today has been a barn burner, hasn't it? Like, just all these matches, with the exception of the JSTOV match, were really close all the way to the end.
Yes, I don't think this is healthy for my heart. The emotions all over the board. Who's going to win? It's actually extremely entertaining. I love the feeling. This is very fun. This is great.
Yeah.
I really was impressed with OLPA's gameplay here. I said at the start, I don't think we'll see anything new. They did new stuff. And it was cool. And it worked. They were able to score that second arc. And they used these tactics with positioning around the temple that I don't think we've seen in this tournament so far. Very entertaining.
Yeah. Yep, this is looking obviously like a victory for 254, but Olympia really showing themselves. You know, we're looking at these matches today, right, where there's some juggernauts that played today. We had 1V, we had OV, we had Nuvi, we had JST. You know, obviously last match, you know, coming out and Nuvi winning, but these teams that some of the folks haven't even heard of, or some of the teams that are fighting these bigger juggernaut, well-known teams, are showing themselves very well. Camo did very well this morning. Obviously, Olympia doing exceptionally today, and Nuvi barely winning during the last match. So I mean, you know, these teams are showing themselves. They deserve to be in the bracket that they're in this Grand Prix matchup. And you know, as we go into the final minutes of this match, and then as we probably start to sort through what just happened and what we're experiencing right now, you know, talking about maybe next match starting tomorrow. This is going to be a day for the books when it comes to this Grand Prix tournament, because this was one where it could have gone either way for some top tier teams. And I wonder if they're going to do any adjustments between now and the next set of matches, because I don't know if that they can continue to just do the same thing and expect to walk away with the win.
I think that's right. I don't think any team can expect to just run it back. I assure you that every single team still in this competition is watching every second of this competition and taking notes about what teams are doing, what they sent where, when, and why they thought they did it. Yeah, you know what I noticed less of, by the way, Drago? Less Julius Caesar.
Tell us.
Less Julius Caesar, man. All day today, less Julius Caesar. I just think filler marches are not where it's at when you can have literally every commander and every piece of equipment you want.
There's
right?
no reason to optimize if you're just gonna die on the field. Like, it makes no sense. I think the idea is there on paper, but it just doesn't make sense in practice.
I think in regular arc it could make sense, right? Like having a fat march that you fill with, because obviously your, you know, sixth or fifth set of gear is not as good as your best set of gear. Makes sense. But here, all, you know, your best set and your worst set, it's all equal. It's all legendary. So yeah, I don't think the filler marches are working out, and I think there's just been too many times where we see them needing to fight. And my God, is there just a lot of fighting on the screen? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, looks like 254 is pushing still, even though there's only 2 minutes left, and they've already soundly beaten their. Well, not soundly. I mean, it's less than a 5,000 point match, or 6,000 point match actually. It's a lot closer than it was maybe 2 minutes ago. Looks like some provisions might be coming back for the Olympia team, but they are down an altar. And again, 254 doesn't stop fighting. That's what they do, whether it's here or in KBK. So, I mean, they just continue on. But all the altars are flashing. Everybody's just doing a nice little campfire around all the altars and seeing if they can go ahead and keep it on their own side or take it from the opponent. We have hard push again with a minute 30 left from Olympia. There's just some points to use. They went ahead and threw it up there just for good old time's sake. And now the map looking very red. All four altars are 254s. 4 structures are now currently blue, including only 1 obelisk. I'm curious how long that obelisk on the top lane will stay. If they use hard push, they may actually be able to capture it, and you might actually see that teleport happen that I was begging for earlier.
Yeah. I mean, I leave this gameplay and this matchup really impressed with both teams, quite frankly.
Yeah.
And you never know what to expect in this tournament for what a team's going to be able to do and accomplish. I really thought OLPA was very impressive.
Yeah, I don't think anybody. Well, I can't say that. I didn't expect Olympia to perform this well, just simply because I don't know them. I didn't get to see their last match last weekend, so this is a refreshing team to watch. They performed admirably. They did well on all phases of the game. 254 just a little bit too much, and were able to secure that last arc. This could have certainly gone either way, but I do think, again, 254 won this match. They didn't avoid defeat, if that makes sense. I think they securely won this thing. They went after it. They took it. Just a little bit too much for Olympia, but Olympia performed very well, and again, is now a name that people need to pay attention to whenever they're fighting in their own Osiris League system, and certainly in regular Arc, as we see the victory for Kingdom 254. We've got the Anniversary Grand Prix, 4th match today, with a victory for 254 in the books. Red team taking it, and again, securing that victory away from the blue folks, the Olympia team. And as we jump back in together, Chiscool, I really do appreciate you joining me today, but wow, what an absolutely crazy day today of matches. I mean, we saw an avalanche of great matches. Unfortunately, only you and I got to share the 3rd one live, but hopefully you'll be able to see that one because it was a doozy as well. But again, 254 taking out Olympia. Really excited to see as this continues to unfold, the Grand Prix continuing to flesh out its bracket. Let's throw some GGs up in the chat. Chiscool, what are your thoughts on the match today?
This match was insane. It was really entertaining. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. And I saw new stuff that I wasn't expecting to see. And every time that happens, I'm really grateful to both teams playing because I learned something new. And I gotta be honest, I mean, I don't know how you feel, Drago, but I feel like just watching this, I am learning a lot about Ark of Osiris. Even though we've already spent a lot of time casting Ark of Osiris together, I still feel like I leave these matches knowing more about the game than I did before I entered. So a big shout out to both teams. Really impressive gameplay. That was really great.
Yeah, and I feel like I did a good enough job keeping it objective, because clearly you were very subjective on that cast. So I want to give myself a nice little kudos. I'm just kidding. Obviously, it was very objective from both sides.
Okay.
We had a good time
Drago,
together.
I did a great
always.
job casting, man. You did great.
Yeah, Drago, you did do a great job casting. I'm so happy with you. But great match.
Would have been funny
clearly,
plot twist. Just cool slams Drago at the end of the cast.
Oh, we got to keep it fun. We got to keep it interesting. That's what we do here on the official Rise of Kingdoms
I guess that
channel.
might have been
Both
a more
of us
entertaining
are.
way to run it.
I mean, why not? You know what? We should do that next time. If we say, well, you do have another match coming up. You did win. Your kingdom did win today's match. We could always get together and figure out a nice little fun thing for the community to experience. But at least today, I really appreciated the fully objective commentating, co-hosting of one Chiscool to my right, and then certainly I did my best. It's simply because I'm not involved in either of these kingdoms or teams. So really appreciate you all and how you were able to go with us together into the new stream that had to happen because YouTube Live going down midstream, which was incredible. But speaking of incredible, we do have the most valuablest player in the match from Ulpa Olympia team, Jason, scoring 206,451 points. Really outstanding performance from Jason on the blue team. Unfortunately, coming up just short from a team perspective. Jason doing everything he could to help his team edge out the victory, but unfortunately for them, 254 just a little too strong. moving on to the next bracket. Make sure everyone here utilizes the gift code that's been going up on the chat for the entire day. Make sure that you hit the like button on this new stream, because it is a new stream. It's not the old one. Subscribe if you haven't done so to the official Rise of Kingdoms channel as well. Myself and Chiskel Gaming are both sponsored content creators for the makers of Rise of Kingdoms as well. Make sure you go check us both out on our respective channels, providing you daily content for this, as well as other in-game benefits and guides and tricks, all those fun things. But looking at the battle report, Chiskel, we've got the tale of really a one-sided affair here, almost fully dominating the three aspects of an ARC match. That's the ARC score, the occupation score, and the provisions score. Coming up just short on the provisions was 254, but really, obviously, the ARC being critical there, winning that last ARC, giving him 3,500 points. And then ultimately, again, the occupation score very heavily favored by 4,000 points almost for 254. The total kills, however, again, like we've seen across the board on all the matches today, very close. 4 million delta, really the advantage going to 254, obviously, but only a 4 million kill delta is not that much. That's basically half of a mid-fight or less, maybe even 10 seconds of a mid-fight, and that's where the 4 million's going. Both teams using those 30 teleports, but again, one team securing victory, and that is Kingdom 254. Chiskel, are you going to throw a party with your kingdom whenever we get off this cast today? And if so, can I be invited?
I don't know if 1254 has a celebration they do afterwards, but I imagine they're feeling some relief, because this was yet another matchup where I think it's a lot closer than the scoreboard would show. The 7,000 point margin of victory looks like a big number. This matchup was really close. It really was. So I was really appreciative. I am really appreciative of the strengths shown by really both teams in this matchup. It was a great game.
Yeah, this replay looking very juicy for the taking. I think that this is probably going to be the calmest part of this replay, because top to bottom, both of these teams were making next level moves, making huge statements across the field here. We have the mid-fight, the beginning mid-fight. Again, what a great strategy to try and maneuver this mid-fight from Olympia on the blue team. 254 obviously taking that first ARC fight, pretty dominating style as well. And we're able to basically hold it for just a little bit before capturing it at that 7-minute mark. Now resetting it to the middle. Simultaneously, though, taking that Desert Altar on the top lane away from Olympia was 254. 254 looking like they're about to take it back, though, with all their marches around here. Amonatori, not the play. Even map halfway through the match, but not to be undone. 254 Sky Altar maneuver, taking out that Shrine of Life on the top lane with 5 minutes 49 seconds on that arc spawn, but not to be outdone. Olympia from the Desert Altar lane attacking the Shrine of War simultaneously. Let's see who takes that, as Olympia grabs the arc in the middle, taking it back to their own, but the obelisk play, how crazy was that? I wanted 254 to teleport here so bad. They had the opportunity. There was 3 or 4 seconds where they possibly could have done it. You can have your marches anywhere on the map and still teleport. Maybe there just wasn't any teleport spots available, but look at this. Look at the spread that this third arc battle happened. To the death, Chiskel pointing out a very good to the death being used. To the death from 254 also being counter used there. So it was pretty even in the middle from a buff standpoint, but then 254 getting the advantage and also using war drums there to solidify the victory. And as the match wraps up, taking the win, 254 advancing to the finals. The bracket, well, not the finals, the bracket looking here, we do have 1V and JST versus New V and 254. The winners of these two in the brackets will go to the finals to be the Grand Prix champions. I hope that you guys are going to join me. We're looking forward to seeing who's going to be coming up next. Stay tuned tomorrow for Bulba and Redline casting those matches. Chiskel and I will see you guys in the finals. Cheers. We're looking forward to seeing everything here. Chiskel, one last thing, I guess, before we wrap this thing up. Again, I'm still asking about that party thing. I'm really looking forward to seeing maybe if we can get a little party action.
I mean, we could have a party in the live stream chat. I was just looking at the live stream chat, and I was like, oh, hey, we're on camera again. Why don't we throw some party hats? in the chat and some GGs. I know we did already. All right, well, end of the day celebration. It's been a crazy day. If you haven't already subscribed to the official Rise of Kingdoms YouTube channel, what are you waiting for? There's more Ark of Osiris Grand Prix, and there's Ark of Osiris League in the future. You're not going to want to miss it.
I agree.